Apologies that this first game will be off a clean feed. It will not be my observing or anything. The only good news, and it's obviously in Chinese and stuff, obviously this will be fixed from game number 2 onwards, so all of this will look a bit more normal after the first map here, as we do have INnoVation top left, PartinG bottom right in the elimination round, lower bracket round 2 even of this Douyu Cup 2020 $21,000 tournament. Of course, if you're enjoying the games here today, don't forget to follow if you're watching this one on the YouTube, because it might be a good series that gets uploaded there. Then do subscribe and hit that like button. You guys know the drill, even if it is on this weird setup initially. Again, sorry guys, like I say, I can't really do anything if they just decide not to wait 20 seconds for me to come back from getting a drink, you know? So we set up here and we get this underway. This is a proxied pylon, and PartinG is looking to proxy a, I'll just say a Stargate on that left-hand side is what I would initially imagine this as we, oh, it's going to be a robo, so it is going to be something a little bit extra then. I guess, yeah, it's no Nexus. Maybe that robo makes a bit more sense. He also took a gas in INnoVation's main base, so he's gas still in INnoVation. So INnoVation has less gas to work with here than usual. And yeah, we're going to be seeing this Reaper heading down the left-hand side as it gets set up to try and fight and to try and find what's going on. And oh, he's so close to seeing it, but he doesn't go far enough. Oh, INnoVation was so close to spotting the proxy, and now he has absolutely no idea what is going on. So now INnoVation is in the dark. He is not aware of what's up. He is not aware of what is happening. Oh, INnoVation. And he knows something is up. He's scouting around all over the place. He's trying to figure it out. It's a Warp Prism to start, and now moving into a Twilight Council to follow up. How many gates are we on? We're still only on one base here. Yeah, so yeah, we are waiting for the extra gates to really come into play in the next couple of moments. As you do see our Reaper making its way out down to the natural, a couple of gates. That's a full wall off. So now the Reaper doesn't even get info. Man, I wish he was in game, because I would have shown you INnoVation's vision, because he really sees so much of the map apart from this little area on the left side where he didn't check far enough forward for the robo. Dark Shrine on the way, so it's going to be a bit of a disruption with some units initially, and then hoping that the DTs following up can do a lot from there as well. Stalks come straight in, picks off an SCV in the Marines. Here to try and fight back. Oh, finally the Reaper sees the robo, but I mean, a bit late when the Warp Prism's already here, right? Does get the Widowmine in position to maybe help out into zone a little bit. Okay, and the biggest part of this is going to be the DT showing up, because you're already losing a lot of units. Even if you have detection now, do you actually have the units to fight off a DT? Probably not. Oh, holy Widowmine actually blows up a Terran unit there. I mean, this is just a mess through and through. This Widowmine didn't do what it needed to. The bunker at the front doesn't help against a fast Prism. Viking finally about to pop out, and that should be able to turn this around. As the Stalker, one of the Stalkers actually went down, so Viking pushes the Prism back. I was just going to see that Dark Shrine going to finish up here. The Nexus about to be done as well back at home from PartinG, so you will have a follow-up. I gotta say, actually, pushing the Prism back and having killed pretty much all these Stalkers is a pretty big deal, and now the Prism wasn't able to kind of come forward to actually put these DTs in right away, so they're not hitting as quickly as maybe INnoVation would have, or PartinG would have liked. And now INnoVation's actually got missile turret in the main and natural, so INnoVation is well set up to deal with the DTs actually. And this in the end was nowhere near as much of an issue as we initially thought it might be. In fact, this is way less of an issue as what we originally thought it might be. 7 SCVs go down. The Viking comes up. We'll continue to chase the Prism into the corner. That's got to be a recall. There's no two ways about it. And as soon as he confirms it is recall, he's immediately going to set up to go across the map. He's got scan energy saved, so he's ready to scan DTs if necessary. They might just start by picking off the pylon and the robo. That wouldn't be a bad start, but I mean, I feel like everything of PartinG so far has been across the map and, you know, in position to fight. So I wouldn't mind INnoVation just going across the map and testing what does PartinG actually have back at home, because I get the feeling the answer is not really very much. Right? Like, yeah, I don't think it's very much at all. Couple of units at the front of the wall. That is a full wall at the front though, right? So you have to Warp Prism units over it to get units in and out. Definitely part of the issue. Marines and a Widowmine about to come into the back of the natural. Just going to be dropping down. Widowmine burrows. There's going to be 2 probes already killed off. Here's the Marines getting a few extra probes as well. They go hiding away to the corner. a lot of workers. There's just nothing in position from Partner at all. There's just zero defense here, right? Absolutely nothing as Marines and the Reaper turn back around to the bottom side. Gonna go chasing away a bunch of these workers, and well, the Archons are gonna drop in and start to target the medevac, but the Marines actually load up and go elsewhere again, and it just is INnoVation. He actually held this off very well in the end. There wasn't enough damage done at all by PartinG. Raven and a couple of tanks in that main base. As, yeah, INnoVation's looking pretty good, guys. He's up 82 to 46 supply. He actually just had a sick hold, right? And then the DTs did absolutely nothing. INnoVation just a good read on what was happening despite not scouting that robo early. And yeah, it looked tricky for a while. This is actually double prism. Oh my god. Why are there so many missile turrets up from INnoVation? I feel like INnoVation's seen this all before, and he's just like, I will not stand for any of this in the slightest. GG. And up at right, we do have the Red Protoss player. From Dragon Phoenix Gaming, it is PartinG. And the bottom left-hand side, the Blue Terran INnoVation. I mean, PartinG really, that was the definition of initially having the key to the front door, and then, you know, once he got kicked out of his own house, once he got kicked out of INnoVation's house, INnoVation took away the key, and then PartinG did anything and everything to try and knock the walls down to get back in, and INnoVation was just like, no, absolutely not. You will not get anything done here. I'm sorry, but that is the way that this will be, and that is the way it was. As the setup here begins. Eternal Empire. Here's map number 2. I'm actually honestly just surprised how the initial build didn't seem that strong to me. Proxies of Robo, and then it's like a few Stalkers and a Prism. That's not actually that crazy. And yeah, INnoVation's taking some damage, but he is getting a Viking up. And obviously, the big thing PartinG invests into, I guess, is then the Dark Shrine. But INnoVation already realized something weird was going on. He was prepared for that. And then it's like, you know, I always feel like if that's your full setup as the Protoss player, I don't know, I just feel like that was such a roll of the dice from PartinG. You know, a lot of the time proxies, they don't have to be a roll of the dice, right? They can be well thought out, they can have transitions, they can have, you know, in this scenario this happens, in that scenario we do this. But this was just like, it just felt like there was no follow-up, there was no, you know, rebound, there was no secondary option. Definitely felt a little bit rough. INnoVation taking this 1-0 lead. Just a reminder where this is in the bracket. The winner of this plays Zest, and the winner of that would then play Stats or Trap in the lower bracket round 4, and it's the winner of that would play Reyna or Serral in the lower bracket finals. So that's where we're at currently in the Douyu Cup, just to give you a little run through of the bracket, a little reminder of where we are. I know with Harston being on earlier, we kind of just chatted about the games a bit, but I do like to let you guys, I'll keep you guys up to date with where the tournament is at and all that good stuff. As we do see our factory on the way from INnoVation in the main base. And this Reaper coming through is going to go after a few probes already. So probes will take a little bit of damage. The Reaper is going to be chased on out of there. Is going to get pushed away. Is going to end up having to run. But, I mean, stays alive, which is the most important part. Staying alive is, I think, very important, as we do see the Stargate setting up on the bottom side. Dabbed back up into the center. We do see the probe of PartinG around the right. Just going to be seeing the Reaper able to get a probe kill. Stargate about to finish up. INnoVation just will not go without seeing things today. This time you will see the Stargate as it finishes. Man, PartinG staying very aggressive here. I'm kind of surprised. I mean, I guess that's kind of how PartinG plays in a way, but I don't know. I felt like PartinG lately in PvT especially had found a bit more comfort in letting the games play out and that kind of stuff. Stalkers take down the rocks there, and Hellion of INnoVation up into the main base is going to roast a few probes. Actually doing a pretty good job of this. Gets a probe kill. I mean, this is a good secondary scout. I mean, obviously you already saw the Stargate, right? So He's well set up. He actually, what did the Widowmine go off on? I think the Widowmine just went off on a hallucination. Am I crazy? No? I actually have no idea what the Widowmine went off on. Maybe just an Adept that got into the main? Well, now this Oracle gets 5 SCVs, so the Oracle actually does a great job of being able to get some damage done. Of course, INnoVation goes across the map for counterattack. The problem is a Phoenix defensively would be great, but the Phoenix is going to spawn on the bottom side of the map, so then what do we actually have to shut this down? Well, just the Stalkers, basically. Okay, well, there's the Phoenix. The first one's actually here faster than I thought it would be. So you should be able to lift up one of these mines and guarantee a kill. Revelation on the other one gets a couple probes. 3 workers killed. The Medevac's going to make a bid to escape, and it's going to have a boost, but there's just Phoenix coming in from different angles, and INnoVation gives up on getting it home and just says, right, chase me to the corner of the map. You know, just want to make you be as far away from my base as possible. Just trying to lead those units out of position, especially as he goes Viking Cyclone. That does open some aggressive options for INnoVation, right? You get up to this Viking, you get to this Cyclone, and then you can go across the map and absolutely fight somebody who's building Stargate units, especially Stargate units that are being rallied from the bottom side of the map instead of from the Protoss' main base as they take a third or so. This is not a fast third either. There's also going to be just that Robo base setting up, and I think Inno just going into 3CC has got the right call on this. Doesn't necessarily need to be super aggressive, doesn't need to be onto those extra racks just yet. I think just moving slowly into the Robo Bay and all the rest is absolutely the way to kind of approach this. Phoenix are set to move into the main. There are Marines here. As one SCV goes down already, the other Marines pushing through. INnoVation turns the Phoenix, and they are going to go off running out of there. Double engineering base, so again, all of the setup after the 3CC. There's obviously going to be all these bio upgrades about to begin, all that good stuff. This Phoenix of Partin will go back through into the center. Cyclone's going to lock on, and just going to be seeing just lock on here. Viking here to push the Phoenix back as well. Marines in the tank going to pick away at the Stargate. We'll get rid of it. The Stargate goes down. Allen on the bottom side to be denied as well. Third Nexus. It's just over halfway done. Extended thermal lands on the Robo Bay. Watch shield batteries coming through. All the good stuff as our orbital command of INnoVation lands on down. I mean, both players getting up to 3 bases then. This turns into a pretty fun game. What's interesting is INnoVation is still building a lot of siege tanks, so definitely opens some avenues of attack with the tanks, etc. That can become very interesting very quickly, right? I mean, tanks getting siege can do a wonderful job of, zoning out Colossi and all that good stuff. We do see 2 Cyclones with the Raven already making their way out over the right. And they're going to make a bid, I guess, to try and make their way in somewhere along the way. The few Phoenix continue down the bottom, gets a Marine on the Watchtower. Forge about to complete from Partin as well. And the Viking and the Raven getting a shot off as the Oracle turns and puts the Revelation down. There are Phoenix going to be able to get the Raven. I mean, that's a massive pickoff. That's an expensive unit that actually has a lot of use in against a Colossus-based army. It's a really nice catch, and just INnoVation getting 2 adventurous hunting observers that just, well, we're not worth losing the Raven for. It's just risky being on the map like that with the, when you know there's Phoenix up. INnoVation will make his way to the top, and he's trying to stay active. I'm a little bit concerned just because we saw that Raven going down before. Here come the siege tanks. So this is actually going to turn into a larger push. This is going to be really dedicated. Partin has no counterattack. He has no War Prism set up. He has no charge lots ready to go. So he's got no counter pressure to slow INnoVation down on this. INnoVation is going to waltz right up to this high ground 4th location. Deny the pylons here. Partin's going to come and meet him. So apparently Partin wants to try and make a bit of a fight happen. But there's no way walking into these tanks is going to be good. Honestly, I just don't see what there is to protect the Colossi. The answer is a couple of force fields, but when that's your reliant, if that's what you're relying on, ain't pretty. That first wave of tank shots really just coating the army in a lack of shields. and suddenly that Protoss army just becomes way more vulnerable than it ever should be. INnoVation Spire will retreat out back down the left and through the center of the map, joining up together once again. Yeah, this is what I mean with the tanks, right? The tanks really can do so well in fights like this, and especially in a game where you go Phoenix then Colossi. Stuff like Blink and Charge is very late, and those are the things that actually work very well against tanks. Stuff that gives the gateway units more mobility. You know, Charge lots running into tanks, then tanks aren't going to have a great time. Stalkers blinking in and around the back to shut them down or so. Back around to the left, the Cyclone's going to come through and just clean out some watchtower control. Of course, the Cyclone's not really looking to add much in the fight. Couple of factories still building up, and just going to see, you know, with a big push to the top. The scan on top of this Zealot Colossus army as well, so here we go. We have INnoVation moving up, a Viking shot to begin with. The units of PartinG setting up once again. Cyclone's coming in, picking off an observer. We do see scanning overhead. INnoVation keeping an eye on what's going on. Will kill the Zealot. Disruptor shot lands on two Marauders. Takes those down in an instant. Now we've got Zealots going to charge into this fourth base. The Zealots are going to charge into the fourth. Now they're going to find themselves a few SCVs. Well, Zealots go charging in still. The few Disruptors getting blown up. Oh my goodness, they did nothing at all. And this tank line is going to be really difficult to get rid of. I mean, he has gotten rid of the fourth base mineral line, so that's one good positive here from PartinG, but he's losing the army in an attempt to hold on at this side of the map. The Phoenix are flying through, not even lifting anything up. They're just going in, firing at medevacs. I would imagine that he kind of would have wanted to lift up a couple units there. Not the case. And PartinG types GG and INnoVation. Douyu Cup match. I feel like, you know, if nothing else, Serral versus Stats really delivered in this set of games today. So at least we had one good series, right? Is what I'm trying to say. In the top right-hand side, the red Protoss player, who is now down 0-2 and needs to get a win on the board. This is PartinG. Because in the bottom left, our blue Terran is INnoVation. Team PartinG can absolutely turn an 0-2 against INnoVation around, but it will not be easy. Zero room for errors. And this is going to be a tough one. That is for sure. Just a reminder, the rest of the Douyu Cup will be offline for a few days. They will be back on, I believe, Wednesday and Thursday next week. I believe it's the 12th and the 13th. And then we play, basically that's the last 2 days of the Douyu Cup. So 12th, 13th, last 2 days of the Douyu Cup. Make sure you drop by for those. They're going to be awesome, I'm sure. And we'll obviously bring you guys all of the action from that. It's kind of crazy because middle of August for me is like such a weird time because it's like Douyu Cup is ending. War Chest Team League ends in like next week, next Sunday. And I'm just like, these are tournaments I've known about and planned my life around for like 3 months. And all of a sudden, they're all ended. I'm like, what's next? Well, what is next is ESL Pro Tour or DreamHack SSG Masters 4, right? So yeah, it's kind of a wild one still. Kind of a wild one. SCV back down to the bottom. Nexus, Cybercore. Nothing going on just yet. Nothing to really take note of, I would say, as this probe of PartinG continues around the top side. PartinG already chrono boosting out this adept here, so getting that out as we do see the command center in the main. CC setting up, Reaper out down the bottom. moving around a little bit, and that warp gate coming up as well. Adept going to pop in a couple extra probes. Continuing it as well. Reactor going to be done in just a few moments. Target's about halfway down. We do see the hallucination straight into the main base. The starport is setting up still, and a couple of Marines pop as the hallucination will take some damage. Again, that starport going to be done in just a few moments' time. So again, that starport completed. Widowmine is... it's a nice try, right? Hallucination trying to set up the Widowmine, but INnoVation's a little too good for that. High ground CC. INnoVation really giving Partin a bit of respect here. A little bit of... I mean, is it respect or is it disrespect? He's like, you know what, I'm just going to high ground CC because I can't be bothered with your nonsense. And if I high ground CC, I get rid of that, I'm in a fine spot. I'm just going to be seeing the Phoenix continue to come through and just going to be having the extra Phoenix continuing in as well. A couple of extra gates still building up, and just seeing the probe of PartinG down the right side, ready for the third base. So readying for that. I mean, obviously one of the most standard games we've seen. Finally a game where PartinG doesn't have a structure out on the map early in the game. He is just going to go into these Phoenix early and I guess lead himself into that Phoenix Colossus style again. Although, with the fast third for the moment, I do worry a little bit about what a big bio attack can do. INnoVation has gone up to 3 racks off the 2 bases, so will not go 3CC this time. And yeah, I mean, I think you actually have to go maybe just charge right away here. Okay, that's just a probe that goes down there. The other Widow Mines lifted as well. The medevac hides in the corner. Of course, now INnoVation knows that this is Phoenix play, so he kind of knows what's up there as the Phoenix move into the corner. Just going to be seeing the Twilight Council still setting up. The couple of reactors coming down too, and yeah, stim back +1 attack all continuing into play as our Phoenix will move out and around onto the map. I kind of can't believe this medevac's alive. Is it going to make it home? That'd be crazy. And yeah, it is going to be charged. It has to be charged off the Twilight. Blink makes no sense because you have Phoenix to kind of fulfill the role of what Blink Stalkers would do at this stage. And you just need something that can actually stand up and fight against a Terran that pushes you. And you can see INnoVation's actually adding on extra racks. So he's going up to what? That's actually very weird because that's barracks number 4. Usually the progression of barracks is 3 racks, 5 racks, 8 racks. So on 2 base, you go 3 racks and then you go 3rd CC, or you go 5 racks and you're all in, or heavy, heavy pressure. And this is now 4 racks. Like, INnoVation is just breaking the laws of not just TvP, but like the laws of every Terran matchup production cycle or production setup. This is not, you know, INnoVation's breaking the rules, guys. He's going off script. The machine is broken. INnoVation.exe has stopped working. Only 4 racks. Like, and that makes it really hard for me to call what's going on. I think it's going to turn into aggression, right? I think this is just going to be a big push across the map still. And just trying to end. I think it's going to look like a 5 racks would, just with a couple less units. Does that include an SCV pull? It could just be a very late, like I say, with 4 racks, it could just be like a very late 3rd. There's so many, it's a weird one, right? Is that the Widowmine that gets lifted and picked off immediately? You see this bio army of INnoVation out into the center. Phoenix coming through, just going to be seeing them maybe looking for a bit into the middle. Marines are there, pushing the Phoenix away. Yeah, for the moment, then we've just got a Phoenix actually intercepting some medevacs. This is really nice, though, because this really does weaken what INnoVation has coming across the map. One less medevac to help himself out. It is a problem, actually, right? It is the kind of thing that you would like to probably avoid, as that's going to be a group of these Phoenix still just trying to catch units. So many Widow Mines. You got to say, Widow Mines are the perfect solution to being up against the charge lots. You do not want siege tanks against Phoenix charge, because they just don't do anything. So the Widow Mines are absolutely the right choice here. Can they do enough? +1 armor in play from PartinG. +1 attack from INnoVation. His reinforcements not allowed to come join up across the map. First Widow Mine's going off. The next Widow Mine's going to get a decent connection to the center. The Phoenix are caught in the middle of the map. He loses a bunch of them. INnoVation kind of catching Partin with his pants down there. He wasn't ready to kind of protect his Phoenix. He was focusing on trying to deal with these Widow Mines. He's still getting medevac kills, though. This is now 4 medevacs killed in the game. No third base from INnoVation, by the way. So this is still just 2 bases. And looking to be all-out aggression. I mean, the Zealots finally commit to a charge in there, but a charge into what? Just too many bio units? Bio units that will continue to rally across the map. I feel like the force fields, they are catching some units, but it also feels like it's stopping Partin from getting in range at the same time. I think the one thing that might win this out for Partin is just the fact that INnoVation only has 1 medevac remaining. That is absolutely critical. Because now every single stim hurts so much. There's 2 new ones that just showed up. Oh, the Phoenix playing dangerous games with the Widow Mines. As the Marauders are trying to bait some units in initially as well. Obviously with the cluster shells trying to help out. That is a really nice little set of force fields. And that's a lot of the Marauders going down. But the Widow Mines did connect. And the Zealots are now bruised and hurting just that little bit. Scan is going to be seeing the Phoenix flying straight in. Phoenix trying to bring friendly fire onto the bio units. All the Phoenix go down. Is there enough bio left? One more Widow Mine connection as INnoVation pushes this back. Oh, it's getting dangerous, isn't it? As this Archon picks off a Widow Mine. A whole group of extra Zealots along that right-hand side. +2 armor about to complete that Robo Bay. Is continuing to be added in as well. Widow Mine is trying to burrow up once more. That's going to be some medevacs loading up units, bring them to the other side of these force fields. Zealots continuing to drop, and the Archon very low, doesn't quite go down. USTV showing up here as well from INnoVation, but it's so weird they're like trailing in a few at a time. INnoVation is up 30 army supply, and that's the sort of numbers you need if you're going to make this kind of attack work. I'm so surprised by just the trailing in of the few SCVs instead of just bringing all of them and just saying, yeah, you know, I am fully committed to doing this. Maybe it's just because he feels like it's going okay for him over time here. All it takes is that one set of Widow Mines. One set of Widow Mines to then really kind of break the defense. But you know what? 5 Archons are now going to be on the field. And that's the other thing, right? These Archons have been built up. And there's so much tech in this army now that wasn't here before from PartinG. And that completely changes this as well. As the Zealots start to run in once more. Widow Mines don't do much this time. That said, by warping in these Archons, he's actually given up the Zealot warp-ins, which maybe stops INnoVation pushing into positions. He'll deny base 4, still only on 2 bases of his own. Make of that what you will. First disruptor of the game about to pop out, and cannot get a connection to change things here. It could be a great tool at cleaning up some of the Widow Mines at times. That's the Observer. There's the disruptor shot. A decent split, all things considered. Widow Mine's going to burrow up. Trying to fight right away again. He's got a few units on the low ground, not being brought into the fight just yet. Those Archons starting to get connections on the bio, but he's running out of Zealots. The disruptor will fall. 2 new Widow Mines about to burrow up, so you will retake this high ground. INnoVation 86 to 43 army supply. It's double numbers. Is it enough? Can he fight with the bio against these Archons? +2 armor, making everything oh so tanky. Widow Mine's not doing the best here, but maybe still enough. Those Archons are low HP. He gets back to shield battery though, and that's actually kind of critical in a moment like this. I don't think that Cybernetics core really matters. And I mean, that is his target. I mean, that's just such a low priority target at this point as INnoVation. He's got to be running out of steam soon. His economy will not stand up forever with only 34 workers, and that's the issue. As now Partin maybe just has too much. This time all the medevacs are going down. The bio unit's though going to make a turn. He'll target down the disruptor. He gets an Archon. He will very nearly get another Archon. It will drop. But then the Zealot reinforcement surely should just be enough. The disruptor is going to land. That's GG. And Partin will get a point on the board in a very, very tense defense. GG. Let's go. Diving into Pillars of Gold is just about holding off that big 2 base. It is PartinG, a red Protoss on the top right side of the map. His opponent will be INnoVation, of course, in the bottom left side, our blue Terran player. Like I said, 4 racks was kind of a new number to make up right there. Let's get this underway. Probe coming out. Probe gonna drop in the simulator. I'm just setting up here a little bit as our pylon sets down from parting in the main base. Get set up and running. Depot gonna finish. Her barracks will begin. So getting that rack started up already. We'll see a refinery setting up from INnoVation too. So getting that started. And yeah, a few moments of just building up for the moment. Partner's probe out down to the low ground. Just going to be seeing the gate and a racks. There's our nexus. Nice peaceful start up here. Pillars of gold. Anything can really happen. Definitely a few styles that work well. That's absolutely a style you can play Blink on and put some pressure on. Blinks up into this main base. We have seen some players actually just taking the Colossus style on this map. I don't like the Colossus style as much because I feel like defending this third is a very open area. So I don't really like anything that takes you into a faster, a faster Colossus style that you're kind of relying on certain things to happen and so on to make it work. Question from the chat: what does the LE after Pillars of Gold mean? Ladder edition. So it just means if any changes were made by Blizzard before they put it on the ladder, this is the one. Even if sometimes they don't even make changes, but it is the official version used on the ladder, right? So then people know which version of Pillars of Gold is the one that everybody practices on and stuff. There used to be TE for Tournament Edition of a couple of maps way back when. I think that was it. Maybe SE ones for Standard Edition? I don't know. So obviously, we've just had LE at the end of every single map name for the last, I want to say like 6+ years at this stage. A long time, but anyway. Long time. Stargate is going to finish, and that's going to be a Phoenix already building up parting in the right-hand side. Dev's going to walk away here. Sentry is up. I mean, again, it's another Stargate. Parting really liking these Phoenix. Again, INnoVation just expands high ground, saying, you know what? I ain't really believing in, and you're not doing anything super crazy. So again, I will just expand on the high ground and go from there. This time INnoVation does go for a siege tank, and we'll see what that leads into. Again, against Phoenix. Tank pushes can work until the charge comes up, right? That would be the issue is as probe goes down. It's a lot of Marines. I mean, honestly, just a Marine tank drop initially could do well. This hallucination would really love to see what exact units do end up popping out here. Things moving up. The hallucination going to track the medevac, so you kind of know that this is coming now as parting. Well, these Phoenix have a job to do. These Phoenix absolutely need to try and lift up this tank and help out against it in the fight. There are 3 of the Phoenix ready to go. Poise on the right side. That's where they'll reinforce from as well. The medevac takes a bit of a hit for 2 from Stalkers to start. Of course, if this tank is lifted, the scary part of this is that it will then just be Marines. CV is going to hang back. Of course, there is reinforcements coming, right? There's going to be an extra tank here soon. The Phoenix can maybe try and go and intercept that. I don't know if that's more important than just defending here as the bunker goes up, and I think that's going to be the plan. Phoenix making themselves known. They'll take a few shots, though. The Zealot's going to be targeted by the Marines. I love the tank shot into the Sentry. The Stalker's definitely the point of greatest value there as... Oh, the SCV doesn't go down yet, so the bunker might yet get up. The Phoenix should just be able to make a dive. The medevac was healed, so the bunker is denied. Another SCV picked up. Now INnoVation gets another siege tank to the front. Guardian Shield activated, but denied just a moment later. Super Battery is down, and the tank shot still flying on the Stalker's Phoenix. Now he drops. Marines gonna get another one of these Phoenix. The Stalkers will kill the siege tank. Oh, that's a hold then from PartinG. INnoVation will be sent home. I say sent home, but he's actually in an okay spot still, right? He still kept a lot of these Marines alive, I want to say. There's no blink. The medevac will survive no matter what. I'm pretty sure the medevac can save these Marines and get out. No, this guy got left behind. I mean, then the Phoenix will chase, but they're not close enough. Liberating the main, everything's out of position for PartinG, so he's going to take a lot of damage. I mean, that's instantly 4 workers. Huge amount of lost mine time. Tank defensively at home. Now the Phoenix have to recall, but that's even taken a while to set up. There's 5 workers as one jumped out of gas and into the Nexus. And as Phoenix are there, they pick off the Liberator. Charges continuing to build at the moment as we do have the Stalkers. Continue to build up on this bottom side. So, just what do you do at this point? Well, you don't really break the 2 base play. There's a 3cc from Inno, so it'll be a while until Inno gets stim and combat shield, etc. So maybe, yeah, I kind of like the charge here again. Similar to the last game, but Inno playing differently. Yeah, I feel like this time you shouldn't really be under any pressure as PartinG. Maybe you could apply some pressure of your own. That's that 3rd base set up. As you have our Phoenix. They're going to set themselves to that left-hand side and maybe think about diving into the main for a few kills in the near future. The Viking and the Cyclone pushing this back. Phoenix out around to the bottom side. Charge is going to be done soon. The extra gates in the main base. And the Temple Archives PartinG very happy to be given the chance to attack up here, not under any pressure. And they're going to fight for that 3rd base location now. The Phoenix are ready to come and make some SCV picks. As they fly into the natural expansion, a few SCVs going down right away. So that's 4, 5, 6 workers already killed. Cyclones and the Viking do get a lock on and a shot or 2. Helping to push this back. Well, more Phoenix are still on the way as well, right? As these couple of gateways building up here too. A lot of setting up as Stimpack, Combat Shield, all coming into play. PartinG will dive the natural. I mean, I think it's the right idea, but I'm surprised that Viking and Cyclone does so good at kind of scaring this up. There goes the Cyclone as the hallucination comes back down into the center as well. The SCV's full. The Marines are coming around for it. 7 SCVs going down. We do see that robotics facility about to finish up in the natural. And the extra medevac still just building here. 1-1 in Stimpack. Going to complete, and the Phoenix will go around to the left as they go for the SCVs. Picking away at a few of these already, so a few SCVs going down right away. The Phoenix up to the top. The High Templar going to finish up from PartinG in that 3rd base, and well, there's still plenty of Phoenix. I really feel like INnoVation's being picked apart this game. Right, he's losing a lot of SCVs. His work count seems consistently down. I mean, you've got to imagine that PartinG's army is still not the best, right? It's not what it was. Yeah, I mean, it's not what it is. It's not what it was, but it's not what it could be. You know, if he'd gone a different route, it is very spammy, lower tech units, and just a lot of them, right? That seems to be the plan for PartinG to try and make this work out. And I feel like a defensive, defensively set up INnoVation like this shouldn't really die to that. And PartinG seems to agree. So PartinG says, right, I'll take my 4th base and I will not commit into that position. And I could not be more behind that, actually. I think that's a fantastic choice because I really feel like that commitment in was just a disaster. Absolutely waiting to happen. Everything's setting up. The Phoenix will fly into the main. Oh, they're going to find some medevacs. Well, there's Marines to protect them. So actually, it's a good protection from INnoVation. Good save. You don't want to lose all those medevacs. You kind of need them. It actually became an issue in the last game. The medevac count getting low was absolutely one of the reasons PartinG was eventually able to win out a consistent set of trades. And obviously, this is a very different situation, but logic still applies. INnoVation's still just going to be all in, though, right? Yeah, just as he pulls the SCVs, it kind of really toggles in my head that, he's got no 4th base. He's not really setting up for 2-2 upgrades. It is just Marine tank, more or less. Marine Marauder tank, right? But this setup is, in general, always going to be one big push. I am actually a little bit afraid because PartinG's army to me still looks very, well, just purely zealot heavy. Tank shots there initially don't do bad to start off either. He should just be able to knock these rocks down, but he will actually instead just wait for the force fields to expire. Zealots on the counter-attack will not actually do that much. The third base lifted and actually backed away. I mean, I guess you don't need the mining from that third, so it makes sense. And INnoVation's in position. PartinG's expecting him to come down this ramp, but actually INnoVation's on the right side. So PartinG is the one that's going to have to go up a ramp here, and that's absolutely huge. One round of tank volley, the second one goes off before the Phoenix lift. Oh, it's a crazy fight. Does PartinG have enough coming through? An extra round of zealots coming in. The tanks are going to start dropping. The Phoenix need to relift. Oh, all of the tanks just not in the fight is absolutely going to be critical, and it is going to be PartinG to overwhelm this army in the end. Phoenix lifting up all the tanks. And what was a 2-0 INnoVation lead is now a 2-2 tied up series. Oh, we are going to the side map. As we have in the top right-hand side. The red Protoss player. From Dragon Phoenix Gaming. Give it up for PartinG. Taking on in the bottom left, the blue Terran. We have got ourselves INnoVation. Oh dear. Going the distance. Like I say, it's not that I wouldn't be... It's not that I don't want PartinG to win because it's PartinG. It's because I don't want PartinG to win because I just want some Terran in the top 6 of this event. Is that so much to ask for? It's a max packs from PartinG. He's going to proxy one gate and then he's going to expand back at home in INnoVation. He's been high ground expanding every game so far. If he high ground expands once again here, this would be absolutely brilliant for him as this probe comes in and acts in a very annoying manner. INnoVation, well, at the very least, is going to SCV scout. So you'll realize there's no gate at home from PartinG very quickly. And that's a pretty big deal. Probe comes over, drops the simulator down. So that's a gas steal, and I feel like already this is where INnoVation is like, I don't trust what you're doing. Like, he comes out, wow, look at this. He's even going to go check in his natural expansion. And no, INnoVation, no! I thought he was going to check, but he was actually just expanding. Oh, INnoVation doesn't know, and he's low ground CCing. I can't believe it. As the CC sets up. That's going to be seeing the Zealot popping out, and now INnoVation knows, instantly cancels, and he will just go to the high ground for defense. Starts a bunker. Where's the DP? He actually sends the Reaper across the map. Of course, no unit back at home from PartinG, so he has to deal with that. We're going to push a couple of Zealots back. We do see the Warp Gate setting up in the main base. We do see the Reaper coming around the top side. Drops a grenade. A couple probes going to get blasted, and we do see the Zealot is taking a little bit of damage here still. I like it though, right? I mean, now you force the Zealots to come back home, so this takes away a lot of the initial pressure that you're meant to have as PartinG. You forced a shield battery in the mineral line, and that helps a lot as well. You see the probe going to drop the pylon down out the front. Again, a couple SCVs, a couple Marines going in for the assimilator. Bunker's still at the tie ground, and again, I just don't see what else PartinG can really do off this, apart from maybe stopping INnoVation going back to the low ground, right? Like, you know, you can maybe hold the low ground off for a while. So that's probably going to be it. At the same time, it's not like this Reaper is doing much across the map. I think this is fine for INnoVation. Like, you know, PartinG invests into the Zealots, the shield battery. INnoVation has to cancel and rebuild a CC, and that's a slight annoyance, but other than that, all good. Wolfgate is building on the Cybercore. As the Reaper is going to pop out and onto the map. Wolf Probe still coming through. Stalker from PartinG chasing. Gets a Marine. Looking for another, but the Marines get up to that high ground. Blink chrono boosting on the Twilight Council, so getting that blink up, ready to go. Robotics facility of PartinG starts on the natural. And drop down a grenade. I love that he's kind of staying so active. Rescouts, gets to see the chrono boost in the Twilight. Really good information for INnoVation, if nothing else. As the Stalker will get the Reaper, so it finally falls. Talking about finally the expansion setting up. But do you need a siege tank before you can really take this? I think you might. Siege tank will start. That's the frustrating part of this, right? You've got a CC that just can't actually do anything right now. But a mine burrows up, goes in. That's a dead Zealot. 2 probes as well. Now Widowmine in the main base. It's going to be an unburrow, reburrow. Look at all this lost mining time of PartinG that he's losing out on. And oh, he's going to unburrow, reburrow once more. Oh, it's a little bit too much. But he's got one more Widowmine that's actually going to kill a Zealot. And then he can save that Widowmine and just park it right here and drop again in a little bit. So I don't mind what INnoVation's gotten done there. There's tank sieges. These Marines are going to kind of draw the Stalkers in. Tanks should just get one of them. I don't like an extra warp in here. I guess he's going to get out before INnoVation pushes the siege tank up any further forward. Blink about to finish. Tank is going to be done. And I know, of course, this is all as well. The second and third racks are now going to start building up these upgrades. But INnoVation does have a third CC. So he's already on a third command center, while PartinG is still on 2 bases. And not on anything special with 2 bases, right? There's no forge down. There's no, like, massive gateways. In fact, I don't really like it for PartinG, knowing that INnoVation has 3 CC of his own. I'm a little worried PartinG's going to get overrun here as this game goes on. The third CC is just massive. The economy you get from that is obviously going to be fantastic. The extra mules already dropping down on the natural, for example. Now these Stalkers are just playing with fire. They're trying to protect the gateway. I mean, how long can you realistically protect the gateway for before you've just, you know, you're committing too much? I don't like this blink up because there's actually double tank coverage on the blink location. Okay, blinking to the bottom side is the one place where obviously the double tank doesn't hit, but it's a nice shutdown on a tech lab. Unfortunately, nothing was building on that. The stim pack's a little bit further back. INnoVation going to relocate the racks before starting combat shield again. I like that PartinG's trying a lot of the different angles, a lot of the different pokes and prods to try and make something happen. Stalkers out the front, just going to be seeing the medevac out over the right hand side as we have stim, combat 1-1 upgrades. All of these getting going in the production tab there. A couple of extra racks coming through. And Forge of PartinG gonna be done in just a few moments time, so that Forge setting up gonna be done shortly. Charge is on the way on the Twilight Council. There's a few Stalkers down the low ground. Just want to clear up this Widowmine. Still gonna get a probe. A little bit of a shame. So yeah, INnoVation's basically gonna have his third base landed and started mining at the same time as PartinG has his third. And okay, PartinG has gone into Colossi a bit faster, so it's not one of those scenarios where PartinG was meant to have like a way faster third, but it's still a fairly late third, all things considered, as PartinG backing away. SCVs transfer over. There's the Prism into the mains. There's going to be the chaos that PartinG needs to create to, you know, give him some opportunities here. Slow INnoVation down. Hey, what are these tanks doing here? Are they derping or are they actually just responding? I think they're just responding because there's nothing to block them from getting out onto the map properly. Thought they might have just been derping around if they were like locked in somewhere somehow. Salt's able to get missile turret in the corner, then is the bio stims, and again just keeping some units here, making sure this Prism is not a long-term nuisance. When does INnoVation want to push out? He's still just building tanks 1-1. Armory does start, so it looks like he wants to go 2-2 upgrades. I was about to say just a moment before that Armory came down, I was like, well, are we heading into a similar scenario to last game where INnoVation, he's not getting 2-2? You know, are we just going to a, you know, a big 1-1 attack with all these tanks? But no, he will get an Armory. He will go 2-2. He will get a 4th command center. As PartinG, by the way, his first upgrade is only just soon finishing, so It's definitely been an issue for him. Whoa, that was deadly. Drop on top of a tank and insta-kill through friendly fire. The Marines will stim across. The prison gets away. And that Dark Shrine really will not be too far from finishing. The few Marines and the Marauder hanging on the watchtower. Right now around the top side, it's going to come across, and we do see a Marine that gets into the middle right away. A couple of Stalkers will be here to fight this off. Alright, this disruptor getting started, and just going to be seeing the shield battery and another cannon in the main. INnoVation moving onto the map. So here we go, out across to the upper right side. I mean, he's actually left all the tanks at home, so defensively he's fine. And there's just nothing really here. There's a recall that he forces. That's nice, though, because now you've forced the recall to the right side of the map. A, the left map of the side of the map is probably clear. And B, you can't relocate easily once again. The Stalkers blinking, though, will chase a few of those Marines down. Singles on the watchtower. We'll see a little chunk of units moving across. And PartinG really getting set up into comfortable late game. You know, when you're getting into that Shadow Stride and you're going to start throwing DTs and Zealots around the map at your opponents, you know, that's the part where I say, you know, people are probably feeling pretty comfortable. You know, you're going to get into a spot where it's going to be difficult for INnoVation to keep up with all of that aggression. Command Center on the right. INnoVation is happy to let this develop into a much longer game than... You know, he never really made a big push to stop that from happening anyway, right? Built a lot of tanks, and he's really just set them up defensively and left them there. The only reason he unsieged them was because there was Zealots dropping on top, and he didn't want to friendly fire any further, so... Yeah, we've got PartinG back around to the top of the map. A lot of DTs on the bottom. That's where the Shadow Strike comes in. You go blinking in onto this base. There are missile turrets, though. The tanks obviously will help a lot. You've got to be very careful not to send too many, you know, DTs in and just lose them all at once, right? Because they really are. DTs are not cheap units. So when you throw all of these in, if they all go down, you need value out of them. Otherwise, I think you are in trouble. Like this clears out this watchtower, opens up the triple drop, and takes it to the right. So INnoVation going to start pressuring a little bit more. I know he's been on the map once or twice, but this really is an attack now that should reach a mineral line. That should get somewhere where that can deal some damage. Nexus in the corner as INnoVation will sit in the corner himself. So let's charge in. Marine goes down. PartinG's army still in the center here. It's a lot of DTs. It's a lot of DTs. Cleans out the rocks. DTs ready to make that move. A little bit of bio. They get swiped pretty quickly. A lot of DTs. I know I've said it a lot, but I'm just waiting to see what they can do. Answer not a lot. They get pushed back pretty easily there to begin with. Yeah, it's dropping the back, by the way, and we're going to be seeing this Bioforce finally getting something done. So DTs warped in, but actually scan comes down pretty quickly, and the DTs will not do a lot on their own. Oh, I like this for INnoVation. It's doing a lot of damage. He's going to get the Nexus, and he lost like 2 Marines so far. Wow, I love it. Now he's going to jump into the next space, and this is where INnoVation feels the momentum rising. Still defending well at home. Now going to load up and go elsewhere. You know, I actually think this is a game with how INnoVation is playing. PartinG should not be aiming for what is this SimCity. Well, it's just horrible against Disruptors, but it's very good against Zealots. I actually think this is a game where PartinG should maybe be actually playing for a much later game, and the Fleet Beacon really suggests what is really what I wanted to suggest. So he is going for it. More so than the DTs, because there's just no opening right now. The defensive tank setup, there is just no opening at the moment for Trying to really commit in, and you know, running DTs into that sort of defense just is not really meant to go well for you. There we go, the DT's making a blink forward as this army will get cleaned out. Nearly got a Colossus, which would have been a nice pickoff, but this drop in general did a lot anyway. I don't think INnoVation is sad to see it fall, and he's adding Thors. Oh my god. He's going late game Thors? Is he afraid of the carriers? Thors are pretty good against carriers, but you know, this is something that some players played around with a little bit. I know Clem played around with this a whole bunch. Yeah, Clem played around with this a whole bunch, but I've not seen him do it for months. I'm talking about a long time ago. He is on +2 vehicle weapons already, so he's about to have +3. I mean, that's going to make the Thors really dish out damage if they get involved in a fight. And it's kind of crazy. The army of PartinG coming up. There is going to be the DTs. They blink in, but there's an EMP to help take them down that little faster before they become overwhelming. And again, what do you really do about pushing in here as PartinG? Well, the answer is you just do not push in there. That's the very simple answer to that. INnoVation just loads up again. Gonna go dropping. I mean, PartinG should have seen that, so should have a bit of pre-warning. He has a Phoenix that's going to move straight across in a position. Now I know it just drops here, but actually there's not really anything here, and he loses the Phoenix. I guess the DTs are coming in, but he scans them ahead of time. They will still blink in. They take down the Ghost, but still, like I mentioned before, DTs are expensive units. So every time you lose a clump of DTs like that, it definitely ain't coming cheap. Good news is this drop will be pretty much cleaned up. A couple units might drop into the main. I just like what INnoVation has done in terms of pulling PartinG's army around. Because PartinG, apart from a few DTs that were down here once, has not really done anything on INnoVation's side of the map. And even those DTs didn't do much, he's not found a chance to set up another round of DTs or anything, you know? Padre Overcharge is activated. These cannons starting to go down. He will just siege the tanks and let them do the job. First few Zealots going to charge forward. This is, again, kind of a weird army of Inno, because I feel like it's not that much. It is. It doesn't look like a lot, though. And that's what scares me, because I feel like a few good disruptors and this army gets cleaned up, and it's actually a really serious amount of INnoVation's army. He drops back in over here looking for the probe kills. He'll get a bunch of them. And the one thing the Thors just are not good against is disruptors, right? At least he does have the medevacs to help out. He can save the Thors with the lift up if he wants to, but those disruptor shots do go off. And the tank fight here was really good, though, and it actually continues through for a long time. Now he does save the Thors. He's going to drop them straight back in on top of disruptors and the stalkers. And the Thors are having a great time. Lifts up once again, loses one, but keeps the other two alive. And INnoVation having some fun right now. But by God, was that a fight that went so much better for INnoVation than I could have ever imagined. You know, I'm looking at I'm like, well, this army doesn't look that scary, but my goodness, the tank shots were deadly. +3 vehicle weapons just does so much damage in an army like this, and wow. Now some bio comes up to reinforce. The disruptors are going to have their work cut out for them. They've got some pretty serious balls of fire to be dropping. INnoVation maxed out, pushing into this right side base. And well, PartinG begins by giving this base up. Does INnoVation continue in this direction? I wouldn't think so. I think he'll just fall back, regroup. I mean, there's command centers everywhere once again still, though. CC on the bottom, CC in the center. And yeah, INnoVation's army will come through. It's an EMP onto the army. Disruptor shot lands on a Marina and Marauder. Another disruptor shot fires. Doesn't quite land just yet. Make that one more. Still not landing. Loses a few medevacs. Honestly, with the amount of bio he has, I don't even know if that's a bad thing. Oh, it's a big disruptor shot. He second-guessed himself. He realized he wasn't getting away. Nowhere to split to. INnoVation, if he'd gone for it right away, probably would have just killed the disruptor, because it was very close even still at the end. Moving around with these tanks, it does mean there are less tanks back at home defensively, so there is way more chance of DTs and Zealots being successful, and that's what we're kind of beginning to see. PartinG's still struggling, though. That is for sure. Look at this army graph. I can't believe that dropped so hardcore. We might have to take a look back at this fight, because what is that army graph? That's actually disgusting. That's like a like a 90-degree drop. That's a plummet. It's like he stepped on a trapdoor and he just started to fall. And he's still falling down. Like, oh my god. Again, I like these GTs and Zealots. They've actually denied 2 of the outer bases, about to be a 3rd. So if anything is going to keep parting in this game, it's probably that. The issue is INnoVation already has 3.5k minerals, 3.5k gas in the bank. So it's not like losing a bit of mining right now is going to immediately hurt him. In the future, it might if PartinG can keep in the game long enough. And that's why I like it, because if you're going to win this, you're going to need to stop INnoVation from building that bank up. And you're going to need a lot more than just that. This drop-in is amazing because you know what? There's no Colossi or anything, so there's nothing you can just go running up a cliff to deal with this. There's no storms. DTs will blink in. Scanning is arguably dangerous because of the friendly fire. I mean, in the end, you've got to scan. He scans at a good time where actually the unit was already killed that the DTs were on top of. Disruptor's trying to lead up the ramp, but man, you can't barely get the Disruptors in range anyway because the tanks have just got such good coverage here. He's going to continue warping the DTs in, but now just all of the production will be going down, and that's a lot of production to have to rebuild, right? PartinG is running out of answers here. 20.5 minutes into Ice and Chrome. Final map of this series, and it brought it out to be a really wonderful series, I've got to say. The Disruptor shot's already flying through. The bio's going to turn. DT's blinking in. In the end, INnoVation lifts. He gets out of there, but of course, he is so rich. He's got so much money to do whatever he wants with. PartinG drops the super battery to save the Nexus. I mean, that is what we call somewhat a bit of desperation. INnoVation will realize he can still kill it. And he will before lifting back into the main base where he can go for more production. Out on the map, there's tanks and bio units killing off probes, killing off buildings. INnoVation is just absolutely everywhere. And PartinG, well, he's got less and less on the map as time passes by. Again, I did like his attempts to deny some of the extra bases INnoVation was setting up, but there was just nothing to come back from that huge plummet of the army. Bio's still over here. PartinG is now counterattacking with Zealot Stalker in a hope that he can somehow make this work. I mean, he's just realized he can't fight the actual army, but he's left the Disruptors to try and slowly pick away at the army, which, you know what, that's probably the best way to do this. But again, he's on 7 probes, 80 army supply. PartinG's run in the Douyu Cup looks as though it will end here. A valiant effort to go back from 0-2 down to get to 2-2 against INnoVation, but he just didn't quite have it in Game 5. A game that INnoVation completely switched gears on. You know, played defensively, mega defensively even. And this is a push in that actually has some potential to clean up from PartinG, but it's a clean up into what? Into still just having pure Zealot, Stalker, 1 or 2 DTs perhaps, no mining, no income, you're already out of gas, and we're just waiting for the reinforcements of INnoVation to be like, you know what, PartinG, you have absolutely nothing left. Let's have it, let's do it, let's just, you know, finish you off right here. Tanks will see, Disruptor shots. I'll land on one of the siege tanks. As the bio pulls on back, you know, the bio here will get the Zealot. Command Center will land down, and the Prism of PartinG going out down the bottom right, looking to move elsewhere. Still just so many Zealots, Stalkers, and Disruptors. We're going to be seeing the bio splitting up a little bit. Some more EMPs going down, so a lot of Disruptors will be getting picked off as we see everything going down. PartinG leaves the game on 20 supply. I really just think we've got to pull back to that attack, guys. Let's just get rerunning. Let's jump into the replay quick and just go down to that bottom right corner, because that fight was truly crazy. Like, the Thors added in. Yeah, it was honestly just the supply loss there for PartinG was truly a bit ridiculous, right? Let's speed this up. Obviously, it was a few moments on from this. Here's the Thor. So it's this push now. You see, I look at this army coming across the map, and I look at this army again, and I don't really disagree. It's like 8 bio units and ghosts, tanks and Thors, and it just, to me, that doesn't really make sense. Like, I feel like 9 times out of 10, this army should just get overwhelmed by Zealots. I mean, this was a bad commitment in with the Zealots too soon. You push through, cannons, batteries go down. So you break the static defenses, but you still look at this, and there's still 2 Marauders, 4 Marines, 8 Ghosts, and then the tanks and the 3 Thors. I think PartinG just has a horrible composition against it, and not a single attempt to flank in on the left side either. Like, he has a Prism down here. He can warp in Zealots and run them in on the left. And instead he has, how many Zealots does he have? He has like 10 Zealots. Well, they just don't do enough, especially when there's EMPs. And as you can see, like, EMPs hit everything. The tanks with +3 attack are deadly. The Disruptors do well against the Thors initially, but everything just dies. That's so ridiculous. And PartinG actually has no gas on the back of this. He doesn't have a bank to rebuild properly. And that's the issue. That's the beginning of the end. INnoVation just with so much more in the bank, and then winning this fight so one-sidedly as well. GG. INnoVation goes to the next round. He keeps the Terran Dreamer alive in the